Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the latest.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, and welcome everyone to our latest BWIR webcast. Today's topic is going to be PLM to ERP integration strategies, and this is the latest segment in our monthly PLM webcast series. On the screen, you'll see instructions for how to participate in today's webinar. So at the top, you'll see how to navigate the webinar control panel, how to select your audio source, and most importantly, we're going to have a question and answer session at the end. So we'll ask that everyone is in audio-only mode. So if you would, please select the raise your hand and then submit your text questions. We'll go ahead and read those aloud and respond to those at the end of the webcast as time permits. So today's presenters are going to be myself, Michael Kanzak. I'm the moderator for today's webcast. I'm a National Account Manager with the PLM Services Group of BWIR. And our technical presenter is Banesh Kumar, who is a consultant within our PLM Services Group. So the agenda for today's webcast is going to be a very brief overview of BWIR, our company, and our capabilities in the area of PLM and the ERP software areas. Secondly, we'll get into the meat of the presentation, which is the strategies for integrating Windchill to various ERP systems. And as mentioned before, we will wrap up with a question and answer through your submitted text questions at the end of the presentation. So Barry-Wehmiller is a U.S.-based capital equipment manufacturer. We've been in business for nearly 130 years, and we trace our roots to the manufacture of bottle washing equipment in St. Louis, Missouri. For the last 20 years, for us, have been marked by an aggressive international expansion. And as of today, we approach nearly $2 billion in revenue. We have 6,500 team members in 70 locations worldwide. My division, Barry-Wehmiller International Resources, is the global engineering and enterprise consulting group of the Barry-Wehmiller Corporation, and our goal is to help mid-market manufacturers solve business, engineering, and IT challenges that impact their ability to grow, mitigate risk, and manufacture quality products throughout the globe. So regarding the capabilities of our group, essentially we're divided into three separate practice areas. Product development solutions, the first one on the left, incorporates all of the mechanical design and product data management and PLM solutions. Our primary platform for that is the PTC products portfolio, but we have experience in data migrations and integrations with other systems as well. On the far right, in regards to today's presentation and topic, our enterprise solutions group represents different manufacturing execution, ERP, and CRM groups, so that we have experience on both sides of the equation, for today's topic of the product development and then the manufacturing execution side. And lastly, in the center, our engineering solutions group provides outsourced product development, sustaining engineering, and data migration opportunities for companies as well. So with that, and lastly, we have a overview of some of BWIR's most noticeable customers, obviously some of the larger brands in the world in the food, beverage, and pharmaceutical areas. But then we also support the mid-market manufacturers that design and manufacture machinery and provide services to these globally known brands. So with that brief introduction, I will go ahead and turn the presentation over to Binesh Kumar, and we'll get into the specifics of the PLM ERP integration topic. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Mike. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us for today's demonstration. My name is Binesh Kumar. I'm an application consultant with BWIR. Today we are going to discuss about some of the integration strategies with, which is available within Windchill PLM. To start with, ERP and PLM systems are complementary tools that can communicate with each other yet support distinct business needs. Modern manufacturers rely on strong enterprise systems to stay competitive in today's challenging and uncertain markets. So of all the solutions that manufacturers deploy, ERP and PLM systems are the primary factors for driving product profitability. As you are already aware, PLM is designed to manage product data right from initial requirement gathering till it is revised and released to production. Whereas in ERP uses the product truth, which is derived from PLM, to help companies manage production resources and financials among other business activities. So to put it in a nutshell, PLM's role of innovation in product design and ERP's role of execution in product design are not only complementary, but they are dependent on each other. So let's go ahead and see how they are dependent on each other. On the left-hand side, you can see all the product-related data right from requirement gathering till the product design happens in PLM solution. For that, we will leverage the PDM capability and PLM capability of PLM solution, whereas in the designer starts modeling and drafting, and it goes through several approval process before it reaches, before it's pushed downstream to manufacturing. On the extreme right, you can see the production planning and production execution, which happens in ERP or MES solution. So we have clear idea on what happens on extreme left and extreme right. But on the middle, you see how a product is manufactured. Those information should be streamlined from your PLM solution to your ERP and MES. Because the data which happens or which is getting populated inside ERP solution should be accurately streamlined from PLM. A well-controlled and integrated product lifecycle allows manufacturers to have confidence to take rapid product innovations. So that is something which brings success. So if you need to have more rapid product innovation, then you need to have a streamlined process. It also helps lean organizations that can't afford to, waste, waste the scraps or waste the efforts in manufacturing because of inaccurate data. To put it in a nutshell, if you have a streamlined integration between your PLM and ERP solution, that will build the confidence as well as streamline the process for efficiency. Needless to say, it will also shorten the time to market through an integrated process. It will reduce the error which may happen if you are using a manual method of entering your product information from your PLM to ERP. And improved communication will help you in reducing the misunderstanding between engineering, which is from where the product is getting designed, to other divisions like manufacturing, purchasing, sales, and other field services. So it's extremely critical to have or to bridge the gap between your PLM system and other production execution systems. That being said, let's go ahead and see what are the options which Windchill PLM offers in terms of integration with ERP. So the first one you see here is Java API. It's a comprehensive and documented set of APIs which is used inside Windchill. The second one is Info Engine. It's an integration platform which is used inside Windchill for its data transfer and data availability. The third one is comprehensive set of powerful utilities available inside Windchill PLM for your integration with ERP. It involves three different options. The first one is ESI TIBCO. The second one is ESI Open API, and the third one is ERP Connector. So let's go ahead and see what Java API can offer. As we already know, PTC is committed to PLM openness. So what does that mean is Windchill and as an application is built on Java APIs. So those APIs are well documented by PTC and is available for all the customers who are on maintenance. So we can leverage this capability, the Java API capability of Windchill, to build integration. The Java API, as you already know, allows the development of Java application to access internal components of Windchill as well as to automate workflow process and administrative utilities. So the library available within Windchill is a rich library which consists of several Java functions, and we can use those capabilities to build an integration. So this gives you an extreme flexibility because you are going to build an integration for your integration for your ERP based on your requirements. So it will give you extreme flexibility, and moreover, you will be using the same set of APIs which is used inside Windchill to access the data. The shortcomings, there are few shortcomings as well. Since you are developing an application from scratch, it's going to be time consuming as well as costly. And if you need to have a tighter coupling between your integration, between your ERP and PLM, then you need to have a greater maintenance effort. And it requires a little high level of Java API and Windchill API knowledge. Right? Let's go ahead and see the second offering which is available inside with Windchill PLM. The next one is Windchill Info Engine. Windchill Info Engine is a robust integration engine that offers standard out-of-the-box adapters through which you can connect your Windchill application with legacy and other enterprise systems. So with its standard-based integration network, you can plug in Windchill Info Engine into your existing service-oriented architecture or other enterprise architecture. So with this functionality, with this Info Engine functionality, you can create XML tasks through which you can pull out information from Windchill. So how it is going to help you? In the previous scenario, in case of Java API, you have to use native API functions to pull information, to access information. Whereas in here, you can write XML tasks which would save hundreds of lines of code. Moreover, you can register your Info Engine task as web services through which you can repetitively use that without any additional or duplicate coding. Info Engine supports J2E, it supports JSP libraries, it supports JMS, and also you can use Java connector with direct access object. The benefits of Info Engine is that it gives you a higher level of abstraction. You can have proper coding, you can leverage the XML capabilities, and it will reduce the skill set which you need to have the integration built. The shortcomings involve, like, you need to have a publishing logic inside Windchill. For example, when you have to publish objects to ERP, it should be based on certain criteria. For example, you should publish, or Windchill should publish objects only when it is in a release state, or only at the end of a change notice task. So this logic, you should build it from scratch. So this is one of the shortcomings, and there will not be any transaction management system out of the box. So you cannot have, you do not have an interface from where you can see the transactions happening between your Windchill system and your ERP, right? Okay, let's see what the first offering which PTC has in terms of enterprise system integration. The first one we are going to see is Windchill ESI with TIPCO as enterprise application integration. So what this architecture looks is, there will be an enterprise application integrator in between your Windchill and in between your Windchill PLM system and your ERP solution. So this integrator will receive the messages from Windchill side, and transmit it to ERP side. It gives you a flexible configuration out of the box. It supports SAP and Oracle. So it is bundled with, when you buy ESI with TIPCO, it comes from PTC side. And it supports a bi-directional framework. As you know, it's always good to have a write back to Windchill side. So when you search for information inside Windchill, if you are able to see the part cost information and inventory level from Windchill, it would be really nice, right? So for an example, if you want to create a change notice on an existing part, and if you want to see the inventory level of that part, if you have TIPCO as an EAE, you have a write back mechanism through which Windchill can fetch inventory level information from ERP and show you inside Windchill. So that will help you in making a better decision. It gives you a closed loop transaction management. What does that mean? A closed loop transaction management means whatever you transmit from Windchill, it will get loaded to ERP and the status will be shown inside Windchill. So you can understand whether the object got successfully published into your ERP or not. And TIPCO is recognized as an industry leader in EAE. So it comes with a lot of advanced administrative tools. For example, if you have multiple plans or multiple ERP solutions which you would like to integrate with your Windchill PLM system, then you can have workflows created inside TIPCO. So there is an clean administrative UI through drag and drop mechanism, you can create workflows. It gives you an efficient user model as well, right? So the next one which we are going to see from BTC's offering is ESI Open API. So as you already know, we already talked about PTC's approach on PLM openness. So the APIs which PTC uses along with ESI and TIPCO, those ESI components involve SOAP over JMS APIs. The SOAP over JMS APIs are well documented in a 100+ integration manual, and it is available for entire user community. So through this, this manual and APIs, one can build integration on their own. You don't not have to buy integration from TIPCO. You can use your own enterprise application integration. Suppose if you are using any other integration softwares like WebWIR, or if you are using web methods, then you can use ESI Open APIs to leverage or to create the same set of capabilities which you have in ESI with TIPCO. So this is another feature. The third one which we are going to primarily focus today is ERP Connector. This is the same set of extensions from ESI services. It is a lightweight way of getting things out, getting the business objects out to your manufacturing from Windchill. So when you do an integration, you will have a workflow. By default, when you install ERP Connector, you will have a workflow created inside Windchill, which is released to manufacture process. So the same set, Windchill ERP Connector uses the same set of release to manufacture workflow, and it follows a customer defined path. So at the end of the day, what you want is you want accurate information to be propagated to your ERP. So ERP Connector, what it does is it will give you a file through different mediums. It could be FTP, it could be email, or it could be a local drive or a network drive. So you will get a file which has the business objects which you would like to publish, and you can load those files to your ERP system. That is a very basic and very powerful feature available inside Windchill. So we are going to discuss more about that. Another advantage is normally in all of the customer scenarios there will be regular export or import scenarios inside ERP. So you could attach this particular mechanism inside your current or routine in the import procedure. So you can import the file which is output, which is created or written by Windchill, and you can put it inside your routine import procedure. So let's do a quick recap of ESI integration capabilities of Windchill. We discussed about ERP connector. The ERP connector involves gives you functionality of writing files to an FTP server or an email or file. So the solid lines which you see on the bottom of my screen are the features which are available out of the box, and optionally you can create web services for that. The next one which we discussed is ESI TIBCO, which uses TIBCO as an enterprise application integrator, where you will have TIBCO work software. So through that software you can create business logic. You will have out of the box adapters to connect to your SAP and Oracle. The third one which we discussed is ESI Open API. As I said, it gives you it helps you using the same set of APIs and create your own integrations. Let's do a quick comparison between ESI and ERP connector. So what you see on the first is a bidirectional framework. Of course, ESI with TIBCO will give you bidirectional integration, whereas an ERP connector will not. To install or implement TIBCO, you need to have an advanced level of skill because you need to understand the JMS and TIBCO administration to one extent. The software licensing cost is a bit on the higher side because it involves or it includes EI. It involves the cost of TIBCO EI. Of course, the cost of implementation will of course increase because of software licensing costs, and implementation time frame will increase because you have a lot of factors to be weighed in ESI implementation than what you have to do in ERP. And the bottom line is ERP connector is the most basic and powerful utility or feature which an SMB customer can use, and to have a streamlined process of integration between your ERP and Windchill. Right? Let's have a quick demonstration on the features of ERP connector. So once you have ERP connector installed, you will be able to see Windchill ESI services in your Windchill version. So that says you are ESI installed. I will just quickly take you through the administrator utilities available for your distribution target. So inside your site utilities or your administrative windows, you will be able to see a manage distribution option. So what is distribution target? A distribution target is a destination for data to be sent from your Windchill solution. It's a kind of placeholder. It's a placeholder for your ERP solution. So a distribution target typically represents another enterprise system. It could be an ERP or an entity within that system. So if you have multiple plans for your single ERP, if you have multiple sites handled by the same ERP, you can create multiple placeholders for that. So this is the page from where you can administer your ERP distribution target. So as you can see, I have two distribution targets which has already been created. Those are demo ones. I am going to create a new one by clicking on this small tiny icon here. What it gives me is a small window where you can enter the details of your distribution target. If you are a Windchill user, you might be already aware of the context capabilities of Windchill, where you can segregate your data as well as administrative activities into different contexts. It could be site, organization, library, or product. So you can create separate instances of distribution target for your different contexts. The next option, what you see here, is an option or to define the type of integration or the type of medium of transportation. So the medium of transportation involves file. So that means what Windchill will do is, if I select that option, Windchill will create XML file. By default, Windchill creates XML files for business objects in a path. So if you select file, you can mention a file location. You have an option to select FTP site. If you have a secure FTP site where you would like to have the information written by Winchell, you can mention that. The third one is email. So if you have an email ID where you would like to send your bill of material, your change object information, you can do that. And the last two ones, Oracle application and SAP, are for ESI with TIPCO, with EI, if you have integration with that. So yeah, these are the options available. Let's go ahead and edit one of these and show you more details. So this is where distribution target created by me for my test Monterey site. So what it does is it will put the XML files inside this directory in the server. And the options which I have mentioned is status as active. Of course, your distribution target has to be active if Winchell has to write files. Another option is you can mention whether it's a default context. When you select the option as default context, suppose if I have a product, if I want all the ERP objects or all the business objects getting created inside that context to be sent to a distribution target, I can select this default for context option. By that, I will complete the main parameters. The next screen, what you see is the parameters which will control what to be published. So it shows you different options on on what all parameters you need to be displayed on your XML file. Before going there, I will show you a sample XML file. So here there is a sample XML file which got generated by a change activity. So you will see the change object name, number, site, and all those details. So you see the ECN header. If you scroll down, you will have all the parts which got released as a part of this change notice. So these are separate placeholders or collections or tags for each of the items. So all these features, all these objects, or the way it is displayed inside this XML file is controlled by the options which you mentioned here. So if you scroll down, if you have CAD objects to be published, if you see this drawing is being published from Winchell. You see a URL published along with that. So if you have an ERP solution where it accepts link for object type, you can have this link. So what it does is when you click on this link, it will take you to the part or drawing name inside Winchell. So you have all set of options available in your edit distribution option. So if you scroll all the way down, I want to show you two important features. One is filter, which you can give when you publish it. If you want to publish a bill of material, you can have spatial filters. You can have attribute-based filters, and based on that, Winchell will publish objects. So if you scroll all the way down, I want to show you one more thing. If many of the customers will have their own attributes or instance-based attributes to capture information from design. So if you want to put additional information in that XML file, all that what you have to do is you have to modify this ESI response file, which is open in the server right here. So here you can see the attributes for a particular part. So you can add your own attributes here so that will be published into XML file, right? So the next one is you can have style sheets created for that. You see XML and URL files here. So XSL URL here, you can mention a style sheet. If I mention a style sheet of this type, you can fetch or filter out the information which you want. For example, if you want to create a CSV file based on XML output, you can use this particular style sheet to pick the name, number, and whatever is relevant for you. You can use style sheets, right? So these are the options available in distribution target. So I will quickly go and show you how to publish an object. So if I go here, let me go ahead and publish an object and show it to you. Right. So I have a few objects here, which is currently in design state. And if I go to the structure of that particular assembly, I will be able to see the distribution targets associated with that. Just quickly show you that. So you can select distribution target from the structure and see where exactly this part or this particular assembly should go. So I have associated distribution targets with parts. So you can see Monterey plant is associated with this particular assembly, right? So you can, if you want to change it, you can right click and update your distribution target and mention a new distribution target, right? So as I said, out of the box, there are two features through which it will get published. Either it's through change or through lifecycle state. You can see the current lifecycle state is design. So if I want to initiate a publishing to ERP, what I can do is I can go here, change the state of the object to released. So as you know, the set state is why I am doing set state is because of time, so we can get it done very quick. In normal scenario, customers or enterprise will use design release process to move the lifecycle state. So I will please select all the associated components and I will change the lifecycle state to released. All right, now you can see the lifecycle state has been changed to released. If I go to a particular assembly and if I go to a distribution target, I will be able to see the status of that. So you can see I created two different, I have two different distribution targets. One was Taiwan, other one was Monterey. The Taiwan one, I configured it as email. So you might have noticed that I got an email from ERP system, from Wingel system, which includes an XML file. So if I open an XML file, it will have information related to that particular plant, the same set of information which we saw earlier, right? And if you go to the server in that location where I have created for ESA export, I will be able to see objects created now. So these are the objects which are created as a part of that publishing. So it will have the same set of attributes as per what you are defined in ESP in the meta info configuration file, right? So now I want to show you how to see the status. We already saw the status here. I will show you another mechanism. So how can I know? Yeah, right here. So if I go to tab the process history, I will be able to see the workflow which it ran in the background to do the release. Right. And another important feature which Wingel ESA or ERP connector gives is a transaction management system. So if I go to my administrative utilities, I will be able to see an enterprise transaction system which shows all the transactions which happen. You can sort it or search it by change notice, documents, EPM documents, etc. Right? If I do a distribution target based search, I'm going to show you that. So each of the transaction will be identified by part number and by transaction ID. So you can see it got succeeded. So it's not a cross loop. I would just want to put a disclaimer here. Even if you see succeeded, what does that mean is Wingel was successfully able to publish or write objects to the mechanism. It doesn't say that it got successfully created inside ERP. For that, you need to have a write back or a closed loop mechanism. Suppose if you have, if you have ERP with ESI and EIA configured, you will have write back mechanism. So this is a quick workflow which runs in the background. So it validates for release errors. So if the attributes, if all the attributes which are matching the business criteria which is required for publishing the object to ERP are met, then only it will move to release state. So this is a workflow. You can modify this workflow. Another option which normally customer deploys is the use of this workflow. You can call this workflow from your existing workflows. You can create this as a sub process inside your workflow so that you can create objects based on that. Right. So next we are going to talk about the implementation considerations. So if you want to have a very basic, powerful, this level of integration which I have showed you now, you need to have a skill set of a basic skill set around Windchill APIs if you want to modify it as per your requirement. And you need to have a basic knowledge of workflows if you plan to embed this inside your current workflows. You need to have a knowledge of XML, XLST for converting your XML output to the way you want. Then Java to a minimum extent. And you need to have an engineering design and manufacturing standard operating procedure. So you should have a standard operating procedure inside Windchill. That is the cornerstone for laying out a plan for a seamless product design. So that is the place where a trusted advisor comes into picture. So at the time of implementation itself, you need the right partner with you to suggest you or give you opinions to make the best value out of the capabilities of Windchill PLM. For example, the attributes which you plan to use inside your ERP system, or which should be pushed from Windchill to ERP system, should already been created at the time of implementation, so that you will have a better data repository inside Windchill before you could plan for an integration. Of course, last, you need to know how your ERP system works. You need to have a person who knows ERP system, so that we can, at the end of the day, what we want is a streamlined integration. For that, you need to know what the output or what the input which you have to give to your ERP. Some of the design considerations are, you should decide what all elements you want to push from your PLM system to your ERP. So it could be change objects, it could be parts, documents, drawings, etc. And you should map the objects between your PLM and ERP. You should say, like, change objects in this should be, for example, change order 2 in Windchill will be should be mapped to corresponding parameter or corresponding object type in SAP. And we should identify which one is the system of record. Is it PLM or ERP or system of, are you following a system of multiple records? Recording in multiple systems. Then you should define where you can do the create, read and update and delete operations. You should identify what should be your triggering element, whether it should be a lifecycle state or it should be a change in workflow as a part of your current design release process. And needless to say, PTC has considered the performance and security. Needless to say that PTC Windchill has got the best security available. So you should have security considerations as well in the integration part to make sure that your data is seamlessly formed. So as far as the licensing is considered, ERP connector needs to have Windchill external server access license. So you should have license for your heavy and light users if you want to use ERP connector. By default, Windchill uses Info Engine licenses Info Engine inside Windchill as an internal process for accessing data from JDBC or from LDAP. So it will use the same set of functionalities, but you need to have external server access kit licenses to leverage ERP capabilities. let's discuss about a recent implementation which we have done for a customer using the ERP connector functionality. The customer with whom we worked and implemented is a world leader in induction furnace technology. It's based out of New Jersey in USA. And they were using JobScope ERP as their ERP system for managing their work centers. Prior to the implementation of Windchill, they had this manual process of entering details inside their ERP. So as a part of implementation, we designed and architectured an ERP connector system for them, through which their data from PLM system was seamlessly flown or could be seamlessly flown into their ERP. So JobScope ERP was a kind of lifeline for them as far as manufacturing or production is considered. So it was extremely critical for them to have the right data there. So the data elements involved in this integration was document information, part information, and BOM information. So as I said, when you consider or when you plan for an ERP integration, you should always have a design document which says, which talks about, or which will give you a clear idea on what should be flown and what format it should be done. And as far as data format is considered, their JobScope ERP had capability to read from a DAT file and load it into its database. So what we did is we created style sheets to convert the out-of-the-box XML to CSV, and we used a simple PowerShell script to convert the CSV to DAT file. And I can say that this is pretty much stable, even though by using simple out-of-the-box capabilities, it's able to sustain a transaction of 500 transactions per day. And the triggering element which we used was new part release or revise part, and the data was driven from Windchill. Right. So that concludes today's session. Thanks for being with us. As Mike said, if you have some questions, you can raise your hand.
Okay, we're going to give the presentation back to Mike.
Okay, thank you very much, Ganesh. And while we're waiting for some of those questions, to come in, just be aware that today's webcast and previous, sessions are recorded and posted on our website, after the meeting. So if there were other people within your organization who may not have been able to attend the live broadcast, please be sure to, send them to the website to be able to view a replay. If you can go ahead and advance to the next slide, Beth.
Oh, sorry.
And also, while you're on the website, please be sure to check out our new PLM packages, so that we have taken some of the common needs that people have in the area of PLM implementation, either for new or existing customers, as well as different service and support options. Put them into some packages to enable quick deployments and give you the ability to budget for those with some known constraints and packaging. So please be sure to check those out, and when you next visit the website. So before we still kind of waiting for questions to come in, what we'd like to do is answer or have you answer just 3 polling questions for us. So Beth, if you'd like to enter the first polling question. So the first question is, are you a current Windchill user? If you please select yes or no. Okay, for the second question. So in order to help us, plan for, future webcasts, if you could help us to understand what your biggest product development challenge is. Some of the more common ones we hear are, reducing time to market, enhancing the ability to collaborate, globally, and streamlining your overall processes through automation, similar to a PLM to ERP integration as we discussed today. And last polling question for us would be if this presentation was useful for you today. Okay, well, thank you for everyone for participating in the poll. Beth, do we have any questions that have come through that we want to read and have Dinesh answer?
Yes, we have a couple questions that came through. One, will you be discussing how to send to different systems with different data, such as make versus buy, and how that can be resolved? Dinesh?
Yeah. So as I said, you can create multiple distribution targets, and as you have already shown here, what you can do is you can create multiple targets, and you can route your request, or you can apply a filter that only objects which has make attribute or buy attribute should be published to that. This could be done by with a simple style sheet. So what you see here is a simple style sheet. So you can use your formulas here and say only make should get published in this. And when you go to your, when you edit your distribution target, you saw the style sheet, right? So here in this style sheet, you can mention different style sheet for different distribution targets. So here you can see the style sheet URL. So you can mention the style sheet, and in that style sheet, you can put a filter. If it's make, then publish here. If not, if it's buy, don't publish. So it could be customized or it could be configured very easily.
Okay. All right. How often do you hit your timelines for implementation of ERP connectivity?
It totally depends on how mature the Visual system is. As I said, a right partner at the time of implementation will keep all the doors open inside your Visual system to have a future integration. So we, as far as our integration projects are considered, we do pre-planning. We see the current status of the system. If we have to pre-populate attributes before we plan for implementation, we will accommodate that. So our planning is quite, we are quite experienced in doing this, and most of the times we are able to achieve the timeline which we are committed to.
Okay. Can you import from ERP, example being XML or CSV, etc., to update lifecycle states within Windchill?
This feature is not available out of the box. Out of the box, you can have only attributes when you use TIBCO. One feature which we have recently implemented for a customer is using listeners. You can write listeners inside Windchill, which will wait for XML or CSV dump, and based on that, we can set attributes using custom APIs. So we have done that for a customer, so that is possible. But out of the box, we don't have that feature. Hope that answered your question.
Okay. All right, I think those are most of the questions that have come through, and if you have any other questions, you can send us an email directly. If we want to go back to the slides with our contact information, we'd be happy to answer any technical inquiries that you have regarding this topic. And Mike, I'll let you close it out.
Yeah, yes, very well. So yes, thank you, Beth. So we want to thank everyone for attending. And as Beth said, for any follow-up, please feel to engage with our PTC PLM team. We have the contact information for our two national account managers and division vice president. Or certainly send an email or reply back to one of the invites to Beth, our marketing coordinator's address as well. So thank you very much for your participation and feedback. We hope to see you on next month's next installment of our PLM webcast series. Thank you very much and have a good afternoon.